Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at two pieces from the artist Sam J. Royale. This is an ongoing anthology. It looks like one-man anthology called DISHOOM. Really interesting book. Like, this is something Sam came and introduced himself to us at the convention and gave us free copies of this. And to me, glancing at the covers, it kind of looked like superhero stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, cool, thanks. But when I actually started flipping through it, I thought, oh, this looks really, really cool. And reading it, that was further reinforced. And it's really exciting to see Sam growing as an artist over the course of even these two issues. So the first thing that I noticed, like right away, is that and the stories in these are all kind of short little metaphors, like the kind of mystic occult imagery throughout a lot of them and stuff, symbolism. But the first thing I noticed is that when Sam works in like shape and icon, the compositions are really powerful. So like this page is really powerful. This page I don't think is as successful. So a lot of times when there's a pen and ink like figure work in the art, then I think it's a little bit less successful. Like to me, this is a very professional, powerful, like really impressive page. And then this just looks like someone kind of doing like a goofy, like Jack Kirby knockoff or something. But then Sam will switch over into, I don't know if these are watercolors or if they're done digitally. They look more physical to me though. So the two things I noticed early is that when Sam's working with shape and with physical materials, I really like the results. When it's like computer colored pen and ink work, it's just not as successful for me. So I was noticing that throughout the first book, and that pays off more in the second book. And then here you get this really great Moebius riff right here. So there the pen and ink work, the really thin line work works really well because again, that physical material and the focus on the color is really great. But like I said, when you get to the figurative work that's just like pen and ink, it just doesn't work so well. But again, flipping back into like this more shape and color based stuff, I think this is really, really impressive, kind of Alice down the rabbit hole type of imagery. And then just some really fun, like kind of touching emotional stuff here too, where you realize that this girl is building up this fantasy world because of something going on in the family, that the family's probably, the parents have split. And so this kind of physical paper and the kid drawing I think is really good. So Sam cycles through a bunch of different styles and approaches, but I'm always preferring the ones that are these full color. They're not really line work. It looks more physical whether they're done on the computer or not. To me it looks kind of like watercolor and pastels or something maybe. I really, really like that work, but when it's like this type of just line drawing, not so much. But the symbolism and stuff's really, really cool all throughout. So coming into the second issue, I was kind of looking at that and looking to see how the artist had developed, and it looks like Sam had realized where his powers are at as well, and is working much more symbolically, more with shape, and even when you have like these action sequences with figures, now the figures are painted, and that for some reason that seems to kick off his composition brain in a different way, and the work is just way more successful. Like here you get a really interesting visual entendre, double entendre, where you have the whole time you have this character with the Black Widow mark, but then he's also using it as the timekeeper with the sand clock, and that's like equivalent of someone's time running out because this assassin's coming on them. So it adds like this double meaning to the danger of that mark on the Black Widow. And then some cool like character design pages, and you see here some play with graphic design. Seems to be a real big part of Sam's artistic DNA. And then here is a pen and ink with coloring style that works more because it's leaning more into like the Andrew McLean, like really simplified, like I'm thinking headlopper type of stuff, where there's more rendering in the attempt to make things feel three-dimensional in this style. I don't think it works as well, but again, with these like painted Frank Frazetta type of things, it works great. And with these more flat type of things, again, the shape and compositions work really well. Here's another little kind of like Frazetta, Jeffrey Catherine Jones-esque piece, and again working more with like either digital or like mimicking digital, mimicking physical materials, or some kind of physical water materials, or some combination of both. But I think this, this issue, you start to see Sam Royale definitely developing as an artist, realizing where his strengths are and leaning into them. And then so even when you get to like these action sequences like this, it just works a lot better for me than it did in the first issue. And again, some of these compositions here are really great. The iconic stuff is really great. There seems to be a little hint of, I would say, Jonathan Hickman's, the way he like designs and uses that in comics. So really interesting mix of stuff. The one question I had throughout reading, because of all of the mythic and occult elements mixed with like fantasy and superhero and all these genre and style shifts, I was having a real hard time pegging if this thing is ironic or sincere, like done 100% in earnest, or if it's some mix of like sincerely enjoying these things, but from an adult perspective, realizing that they're a bit childish and cheesy, and so trying to lean into some more larger adult life lessons, like this mix of irony and earnestness. I'm not sure. I really wasn't sure what to make of Sam's intent with this in terms of like, is it just fun? Is it trying to communicate a serious message? Is it just leaning into the stylistic influence of youth? I'm not sure what Sam's up to. I think over time that will play out more, because these are all little, like I said, it's a one-man anthology, so you're getting all these little chunks of what seem to be larger stories. And there's a suggestion that in issue 3 we're going to be returning to a character from an earlier issue, so that's good. And I'm definitely sold on this. Like, this is, like I said, someone just handed this to me, and I'm sold on it. I want to see the next issue, so it's really cool. Thank you very much, Sam, for coming by and introducing yourself and giving us the book. You made a fan of me. Hopefully we can send some other people your way. I really appreciate it. It's great work, and huge evolution between issue 1 and issue 2, and yeah, I can't wait to see where that goes in issue 3. So definitely check it out. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the channel, there's 2 ways to support us. The first one is through our Patreon. We have 2 different tiers of engagement there. You can get early access to videos in the first one, and then access to a lot of exclusive content, voting rights, and things like that in the second tier. That helps us buy the books that we review. So we just try and put that back into the community, and keep you all informed about all these cool little things that we're able to seek out. The second way to support us is the best way to support Living the Line itself. That's to support what Sean's doing with Living the Line Publishing. So we'll go ahead and take a look at one of Sean's projects now.
Whole new world. 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 For you and
Thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.